Good day, everyone. I am Marvin Athanas, and along with my colleagues, namely Davila Michelle, Jessica McPhee, Juliet James, Lashanti Clarkson, we are going to present on leadership and management's role in organizational change. This presentation focuses on five key areas, and these are organizational change and organizational learning, characteristics, core competency, and core values of learning organizations, factors that affecting organizational change, role of educational leadership and management in the change process, and lastly, strategies to change. To begin, we are going to look at organizational change and organizational learning. What are the differences? We are going to start off with organizational change. What does organizational change mean? It merely speaks to the process in which any organization changes its operational method, technologies, or organizational structure, whole structure, or strategies. How does this differ to organizational learning? Organizational learning is the process by which organizations gather and utilize knowledge to adapt and improve their performance over time. It involves the collective learning of individuals within an organization and the integration of the learning into the organization's practice, process, and culture. Organizational learning fosters continuous improvement and innovation through the structured method such as training programs and knowledge management systems, as well as informal processes such as shared experience and reflections. The features of a learning organization are influenced by five key areas, and these areas are namely structure, human resource practice, information system, leadership, and organizational culture. What do I mean by when I say structure? Structure emphasizes teamwork, networking, information sharing, and empowerment in decision making. Human resource practices. This includes performance appraisal, rewards, training, and support for workforce development. Information system. This facilitates information acquisitions, processing, and sharing for market competitiveness. Leadership. This effective leadership models openness, risk taking, and reflective practice in a supportive environment. And lastly, organizational culture. This encourages openness, creativity, and learning from mistakes through healthy values and norms. To further support this key component of organizational learning, Peter Senge describes the evolution of learning organizations in waves. The first emphasizes the improvement and support for new practices. The second focuses on improving thinking and interactions among managers. And the third institutionalized learning at all levels of the organization. Moving on, I now hand you over to my colleague who will then present on characteristics, core competencies, and core values of learning organizations.
What are the characteristics, core competencies, and values of the learning organization? Some characteristics that define a learning organization are constant readiness. It remains constantly prepared for change, staying aware of its environment and open to questioning established practices while being ready to seize opportunities. Continuous planning. This creates flexibility, organizational wide plans that are regularly revisited and adjusted by all levels of staff, fostering integrated thinking and action. Improvised implementation. This encourages experimentation and improvisation, with successful practices being identified and integrated into the organization's operations. Number 4, action learning. Change initiatives are continually evaluated, reflected upon, and adjusted based on feedback and outcomes. Now we will look at core competencies for learning organizations encompasses. Number 1, building a shared vision, fostering a collective understanding of the organizational goals and direction. Number 2, personal mastery, cultivating individual commitment to continuous learning and growth. Number 3, working with mental models, encouraging examination and improvement of underlying assumptions and beliefs. Number 4, team learning, promoting ongoing collaboration and support among team members. Number 5, systems and systems thinking, developing an understanding of interconnectedness and shaping change in complex systems. Core values of the learning organization. Number 1, diversity of knowledge and learning styles, embracing various forms of knowledge and learning approaches. Number 2, communication and collaboration. This encourages dialogue among individuals with diverse perspectives. Number 3, creative thinking. This fosters innovation and out of the box thinking. Number 4, non judgmental attitude. This is where ideas are valued and individuals are seen without prejudice. Number 5, breaking barriers. This is removing traditional organizational boundaries. Number 6, leadership development, which is empowering every member to exhibit leadership qualities. Number 7, conflict resolution, by minimizing distractions and conflicts within the organization. And finally, number 8, recognizing potential, believing in the value and potential contribution of every member.
Factors impacting organizational change. Usually, organizational change is strategically planned to enhance effectiveness and competitiveness. Key change theories such as Lewin's change model, the action research model, and the positive change model all aim to address problems, facilitate learning, adapt to environmental influences, enhance performance, and guide organizational change. Lewin's change model. There are three major stages: the unfreeze stage, change stage, and the refreeze stage. At the unfreeze stage, we recognize the need for change and determine what needs to change. We encourage the replacement of old behaviors and old attitudes. We ensure that there is strong support for management, and we manage and understand the doubts and concerns of all stakeholders. At the change stage, we plan and implement the changes and help employees to learn new concepts or new points of view. At the refreeze stage, changes are reinforced and stabilized. We integrate changes into the normal way of doing things. We develop ways to sustain the change and celebrate success. The action research model. There are four major stages: planning, acting, observing, and reflecting. At the planning stage, moving towards the acting stage, we are identifying, informing, and organizing. From the acting stage, moving to the observing stage, we are experimenting, collecting, and questioning. At the observation stage, moving towards reflecting, we are analyzing, reporting, and sharing. And from the reflecting stage, moving back to planning stage, we are evaluating, implementing, and revisiting. A 4-stage cycle. The positive model of change. There are 5 major stages. The first stage, initiate the inquiry. Members choose problems or a problem that they have the most energy to undertake. Stage 2, we inquire into best practices. We gather information of what works and why. Stage 3, we discover the themes. We decide as a group the common principles found in the list of best practices. Stage 4, we envision a preferred future. We're going to use the common principles as the starting point for moving from the standard practice into an ideal future. Stage 5, we design and discover ways to build a preferred future. We plan and develop actions intended to produce that preferred future. The 3 change models all outline phases of planned organizational change. They share common elements such as the initial preparation, action implementation, and evaluation. Stakeholder involvement is crucial at all stages of the model, fostering interventions that are beneficial to the organization. However, Lewin's model focuses on the overall process of planned change rather than the specific organizational development activities. While both the Lewin's and the action research models involve OD consultants and a limited stakeholder group in problem solving, the positive change model engages a broader stakeholder base, considering all participants as co-learners striving to enhance organizational strengths.
What is the role of educational leadership and management in the change process? In educational leadership and management, effective change involves a departure from all organizational norms towards enhanced competitiveness and adaptability. Educational leaders play a pivotal role in driving this transformation, embodying traits such as vision, valuing human resources, effective communication, proactiveness, and risk-taking. These leaders focus on 2 key dimensions: initiating structure and consideration for individuals. They challenge the status quo by prioritizing students' needs and fostering a culture of innovation. Quinn's Model 1984 outlines 4 leadership roles in this context. Coordinators prioritize internal stability. Directors translate vision into objectives. Mentors emphasize staff support and teamwork, and innovators drive external innovation and risk-taking. By embodying these roles, educational leaders navigate organizational change effectively, ensuring schools evolve to meet future challenges. The leadership model groups 2 of the leadership roles within each of the 4 quadrants. In the upper right quadrant, the open system model focuses on the process of adaptation to the organization's external environment, defines 2 leadership roles. They are innovator role and broker role. Moving clockwise to the lower right quadrant, labeled the rational goal model, which focuses on the rational pursuit of goals external to the group and the leader's role in defining and motivating the attainment of those goals. 2 more leadership roles are specified. They are producer role and director role. The lower left quadrant is the internal process model that places emphasis on internal control and sustainability. This model also highlighted 2 additional leadership roles. They are coordinator role and monitor role. Finally, in the upper left quadrant is the human relations model. This model places emphasis on human interaction and process. This model also highlighted 2 final leadership roles. They are facilitator role and mentor role.
Good night, everyone. I will now present on the strategies of change. Leadership plays a crucial role in the success of an organization. Leaders within the education system tend to incorporate competitive or collaborative strategies with some external and internal changes made in an effort to achieve the goals of the organization. The use of cooperation over control highlights two main approaches: 1. Incremental change, and 2. Transformational change. Incremental change relies on collaboration, while transformational change is achieved through directive method. Presented is a model in relation to leadership for change. There are collaborative and cohesive changes or strategies. Collaborative implies the act of working together towards a common goal or objective, while cohesive, which suggests that members of a team are forced or threatened to act or function in a certain way for the overall betterment of the organization. I will now speak on the first type of leadership change, which is participative evolution. This relates to incremental change. It is a democratic style of leadership management often used in businesses and organizational development. It relates to the process of changes and improvements in which all members of an organization are actively involved and partake in the decision-making process. This approach is known to increase commitment and the acceptance of change by all, as members can fairly contribute to the overall effectiveness of the organization. 2. Charismatic transformation. This is a leadership strategy where the leader uses his or her charismatic skills such as their personal charm, persuasive communication skills, confidence, and overall their magnetic personality to inspire and motivate his or her team. This leads to transformation and vast improvement in the organization as the team is enthused and thus create better performances within the organization. 3. The forced evolution. The forced evolution speaks to a strategic implementation of change to increase organizational development. It involves pushing the organization to evolve quickly and adapt to external pressures or internal challenges. This approach involves proactively driving transformation within the organization to remain competitive and innovative. Forced evolution may include restructuring, process improvements, strategic realignment, or cultural changes to enhance the organization's capabilities and effectiveness. Although forced evolution can be disruptive and at times challenging, it is often necessary to ensure the organization's success in the future. The team is usually encouraged to embrace change. And lastly, dictatorial transformation. Dictatorial transformation refers to a leadership approach in which an individual or a small group of leaders impose significant changes or reforms within an organization without the input or participation from team members. This type of transformation is characterized by a top-down decision-making process, where authority is centralized. The focus is more on compliance rather than participation. Dictatorial transformation has proven to be effective in situations where quick and decisive action is needed, such as during a crisis or urgent situations. Now, all of these leadership strategies for change have their advantages and disadvantages depending on the situation at hand.
To conclude this presentation, on behalf of all my colleagues, I would like to say thank you for listening.